Fall, 1907, Peterhof Palace, St. Petersburg. Tsarevich Alexei, heir to the throne of Russia, lies contorted in pain. His leg has swollen to alarming levels. Black patches are under his eyes. He'd been playing in the park when he'd fallen, opening an internal hemorrhage in his leg. And while a nanny follows the young Tsarevich day and night to try and prevent him from injuring himself, the boy is 3 and doesn't always listen. This is the most closely guarded secret in Russia. The heir to the throne has hemophilia. When they cut his umbilical cord, it bled for 2 days. A bruise or cut that would be a comparatively minor injury for another child could kill him. His mother is distraught. Doctors can only give him aspirin, and he begs his mom to make the pain go away. So Alexandra sends a telegram. Find Rasputin. Thanks so much to HelloFresh for continuing to help us bring history to the table. If Rasputin had never come in contact with Nicholas and Alexandra, he would have remained a footnote in Russian history, an obscure figure known mostly to scholars of the late Romanov era. But in 1905, they had their first meeting with the Holy Man, as Nicholas called Rasputin in his diary. Soon, Rasputin was sending them letters full of encouragement and spiritual advice, and they kept meeting irregularly. Now, to understand why the royal couple liked Rasputin, you first need to understand the unique pressures that they were under. Pressures that were partially due to historical trends and circumstance, and partially of their own making. Nicholas and Alexandra were a rare thing in European royalty, a genuine love match. But they still had to overcome opposition from both families to get married. And for good reason, because oh boy, check out these red flags. Alexandra's grandmother, Queen Victoria, thought Russia was unstable. In 1881, revolutionaries had assassinated Nicholas's grandfather in a bomb attack, and she worried her granddaughter would be killed. After all, while Victoria liked Nicholas, he was an inflexible autocrat, meaning more conflict on the horizon. Nicholas's parents, by contrast, disliked Alexandra because she was German, as anti-German sentiment was high in Russia and only got worse as the country approached World War I. Plus, there were doubts of Alexandra's fitness, since she had such severe social anxiety that she was known for freezing during piano recitals and not talking at parties. Relatable? Sure, but probably not the qualities you look for in an empress. And when they married, all those forces came together. Alexandra was intensely private, and at a time she needed to be making allies, she let few people get close to the imperial family. Her stiffness at social events and awkwardness in public was misinterpreted as arrogance or disdain, meaning her absence from the social scene and apparent secretiveness opened the door for society gossips to pass off any rumor as genuine, such as that Alexandra was having a lesbian affair with her favorite maid of honor. And as these society rumors reached the couple, it fueled their us versus them mentality, made Alexandra even more private, and created a situation where they thought every rumor about their inner circle were also just vicious lies. Remember that tidbit later. Things only got worse when Alexandra had 4 girls in a row. Healthy, wonderful kids, but none who could inherit the throne. In their desperation, the couple ended up turning to a French miracle worker, who claimed Alexandra was pregnant with a boy. And they had so much confidence in this man, they even made an official announcement. Then months later, they found out Alexandra wasn't pregnant at all. And under pressure from advisors, Nicholas expelled the healer from Russia and issued an announcement of miscarriage. Then came Alexei in 1904 and his hemophilia. The next year, Russia lost a war to Japan, precipitating a revolution where Nicholas had to cede some of his autocratic power. This included a federal assembly and greater freedom of speech rights, meaning now newspapers could air their own criticisms of the imperial family. So by the time Rasputin arrives, what we have is an isolated, deeply religious family set upon by every imaginable kind of pressure, from political to social to medical to celebrity, plus the very real fear of assassination. And their greatest hope for the future is an uncontrollable toddler who can die if he skins his knee. In other words, when Rasputin started meeting with the couple, he gave them something they truly needed: hope. He told Nicholas that God supported him holding on to power. His magnetic but calming manner, and his assurances God would protect the family, also soothed Alexandra. And he spoke to them about the importance of love. Love of God, the family's love for each other, and the love of one's fellow Christians. But it got a level deeper in 1907, when Alexei fell and Alexandra called for Rasputin to come heal her boy. Rasputin arrived, prayed over the child's bed, and made the sign of the cross over him. Then he told little Alexei that his pain would go away, that God would heal him, and that he should get some sleep. Then he left, and Alexei got better. He fell asleep, and the hemorrhaging stopped. And by the next morning, he was sitting up, free from fever, and recovering. Now, how did that work, you might be asking? Well, historians have debated exactly why, short of divine intervention, that this would be the case. One theory is that Rasputin often threw out the doctors, who were giving Alexei blood-thinning aspirin as treatment. Another is that, perhaps purposely, Rasputin tended to show up just as bleeding episodes were ending, while still others say that Rasputin's presence simply calmed Alexandra, whose anxious behavior often scared Alexei, which led to increased blood pressure and further bleeding. Even Nicholas himself noticed how Rasputin helped Alexandra's anxiety. Once when the Prime Minister complained about Rasputin visiting the family, Nicholas reportedly said, "Better 10 Rasputins than one of the Empress's hysterical fits." Rasputin increasingly visited the Romanovs in their private apartments, even being allowed to play with the children, pray with them at bedtime, and speak alone with Alexandra in her room. Now, this was extremely unusual for someone not in the family, particularly being around the girls in their nightdresses. But the Tsar and Tsarina were not alarmed, and other servants were present. The children treated him sort of like a kind and fun uncle. Meanwhile, Rasputin was using his new legitimacy to move up in the world. He went back to Pokrovska with money, buying a bigger house, and showing the villagers a shirt Alexandra had sewn for him. He also started bringing his followers around, almost all women, of both aristocratic and non-aristocratic status. He would give tours of the village, promoting the spirituality of the peasant lifestyle, have his followers stay at his house, and bathe with them at mixed-gender bathhouses, which was scandalous in high society, but common among peasants at the time. And that's when the investigation started. The priests of Pokrovska accused Rasputin of heresy, and both the Orthodox Church and Tsarist secret police began looking into Rasputin's connections to the Klistis and rumors he was sleeping with followers. Aristocratic gossip circulated that Rasputin was bathing with the children at night, sleeping with Alexandra, and had impregnated Olga, the eldest Romanov child. Now, to anyone in the inner circle, these stories were patently and obviously false. But they also primed the royal family to dismiss more credible accusations, like that Rasputin had raped one of his female followers. Then the scandals reached another level, as Russia's newly emboldened press got wind of them. The stories of Rasputin became front-page news, even as former promoters turned on him. Theophan said the holy man had been corrupted by high society, and Hermogen had a revelation in prayer that Rasputin was a demon. In fact, of his church allies, only Iliador stuck by him. Though that wasn't really saying much, since by this point Iliador was way off the deep end. He'd begun claiming major government ministers were secretly Jewish Freemason socialists, started printing images of Jesus, but with Iliador's face, and barricaded himself in his monastery in a months-long police standoff. But Nicholas and Alexandra didn't budge. Even when the Minister of Internal Affairs came to the Tsar and shared the results of his investigation, claiming Rasputin was in fact a Kleist, the Tsar simply said that their contacts with Rasputin were a private matter, not one for the state. Things were getting hot, though, and this would have been the perfect moment for the Tsar to kick Rasputin to the curb and minimize impact on his family and the monarchy. Instead, they just told him to go away for a little while, and sent him on a pilgrimage to the Holy Land, not just helping him escape the limelight, but also to burnish his reputation as a devout man. It didn't work, because the Rasputin that now existed in the public imagination was neither the kind healer the Romanovs knew, or even the abusive manipulator some of his burned followers saw him to be. The public, you see, saw nothing but a sorcerer, a demon, an agent of the devil trying to make the royal family his puppets. And the demon Rasputin, they said, had to die. But you know what goes really great with sitting around a table and starting rumors about a peasant-turned-faith healer to the Tsar? If you guessed dinner, you're right on the money. Good thing these days we have HelloFresh. I really love that HelloFresh supports our channel, because really, they've been supporting my stomach and schedule for a bit now, eliminating stressful meal planning and annoying trips to the grocery store that I just don't have time for. They get me everything I need to prepare tasty meals, all delivered to my door, and I'm eating in like a half hour or less. Just this last week, since I am a sucker for alliteration, I made their white cheddar Wonder Burgers, and wonder no more, they were fantastic. Whereas Jeff took advantage of the nice weather and made citrus pork tacos for out on his patio, which was doubly good because there was more room for guests. I like where your head's at, Cat. But deliciousness aside, another thing we really like about HelloFresh is the work they've done with sustainability. Not only are the ingredients pre-portioned, meaning less food waste, but the carbon footprint of their service is actually 25% smaller than that of meals made from store-bought groceries. And HelloFresh wants you to experience the delectable difference for yourself with this dynamite deal. All you gotta do is go to HelloFresh.com and use the code ExtraCredits14, and you'll get 14 free meals, including free shipping. And I know that all sounds too good to be true, so I'll just say it again. You can get free food while supporting the content you love, the environment, and your taste buds. Again, that's 14 free meals at HelloFresh.com using the code ExtraCredits14. Bon appetit. See, I can speak French. That's right, Zoe. Ahmed Ziad Turk, Alicia Bramble, Casey Mustia, Dominic Valenciana, Joseph Blame, Kyle Murgatroyd, and O'Reels1 are fantastic legendary patrons.